So, you probably saw from the title, let's get into it. So, what would it be like if Smaug existed in the Game of Thrones universe? So, without further ado, let's jump right in. What would it be like if, we had this particular dragon in the world of Game of Thrones? So, let's talk about that. Now, obviously, Smaug isn't your typical dragon, and if you want to go by size-wise, if you're also wondering where we're putting this in time, basically during the War of the Seven Kingdoms in Game of Thrones. So what would that look like? What would that legitimately look like? Smaug would obviously be the biggest dragon. Drogon and his siblings were big, but they weren't Smaug big. Smaug was considered to be not only one of the last dragons in the Lord of the Rings universe, but also one of the largest. He wasn't like in Calagon the Black level size, but he was still pretty damn big. Size comparison wise, he would be arguably bigger than Drogon and the other and his siblings. And the other thing you have to take into account, not only is he big, Smaug is smart. You don't see Drogon making whole sentences claiming about how awesome he is, right? You just don't see that in any way, shape, or form. There's just, that's just not happening. So what would it look like if, you just threw Smaug in here? Now, obviously, we got to talk about, would our good old Khaleesi be able to contain Smaug? No. I personally don't think so. You see, I don't think she it has to be a born connection with dragons. Smaug is just inherently evil. He is just malicious. He is malice incarnate. There weren't a lot of, dragons weren't exactly good creatures in the Lord of the Rings universe. There were said to be some good dragons, but they were few and far between. The whole point of dragons in the Lord of the Rings universe is that they are meant to be a representation of greed, malice, and just all around being a jerk. That's really what they are. So Smaug is going to, more for lack of a better word, Smaug is just going to be nothing short of a, he's not going to care what some Targaryen girl is going to say to him. He's like, fire, bitch. That's really what it's going to come down to. Now, would he be overwhelmed by, Drogon and the other two dragons? In a head-on fight, I don't know. Because again, it's 3-on-1, but Smaug has the intellect and the firepower, pun intended, to probably hold his own. Now, would he be out seeking them? No. Smaug is really only driven, like most dragons in the world of Lord of the Rings, Smaug is really only drawn by one thing only, gold. And he's going to go where the gold is. So in other words, he's probably going to lay a one dragon siege on King's Landing. Or the Iron Banks. Probably go to the Iron Banks first, and I would imagine that would probably make everyone stop what they're doing to go fight and slay Smaug. Because, yeah, the Iron Banks, that's just going to break the whole world. So I would imagine everyone, even more so than the threat of the White Walkers, would be like, oh, crap! Our money! So they're all just going to flee and go protect the Iron Banks from Smaug, who would no doubt just tear his way through there. Again, he would probably also go after King's Landing, because King's Landing has its share of gold as well. Would he leave, the Martells or others? Maybe. It depends on where in that, what part of the kingdoms to him has the most coin, and which one's going to is really going to get his attraction. So, yeah. I would imagine that, since he, the other thing is that, people of the Game of Thrones universe only know dragons from legends, and most of those legends are essentially dragons don't talk. They are believed to be smart, kind of like orca levels, orca or dolphin level smart, but they're not really known for speech. So if Smaug just comes, just trouncing on in, he's just going to be like, give me your gold, and everyone's going to be like, holy shit! That thing talked. That's gonna break someone's brain. Like first off, seeing a dragon alone in the Game of Thrones universe before the War of the Seven, before the siege, on King's Landing, that's gonna break some brains to begin with. Then you have a dragon who is of that size and capable of eloquent speech. You are no doubt going to have someone go, I'm just gonna go jump off a cliff, man. I cannot deal with that. And do you really think Cersei, for all her talk and all of those words or Littlefinger or what have you, do you think anyone, I guarantee you someone in the Lannister family or someone in King's Landing would see Smaug and try to butter him up, hey, how about, you come fight for us and kill the Targaryen bitch and we'll give you some gold. And that's not going to fly with Smaug. Because Smaug doesn't want some of the gold. He wants all of the gold. And guess what? He don't need to listen to you. So therein lies kind of another major challenge, is that Smaug is just going to, no doubt, just come smashing through to wreck your day. That is going to be the start and finish of it. Just absolutely wreck house, and he's not going to care because he doesn't view humans as worth his time. Therein lies the other thing. There's going to the whole thing of we can manipulate anyone. We can control this creature. We can have our own dragon, and this one is bigger than the other three. That's not going to matter. And also, if Smaug does obvious, and also you could say but could Smaug find somewhere far away? He could, but he wants to be where the gold is. And the gold's kind of in a very occupied place. So King's Landing's going to be called Dragon's Landing, or Smaug Landing very soon. Or again, Smaug can just come trouncing into the Iron Banks and just be like, it's mine now. It's mine. What are you going to do to stop me? Yeah. Now, the big thing is, once he's settled in to somewhere, it's going to be a hell of a time to try to get him out. That's going to be the other major issue, is that you're going to try to get Smaug out of, again, it would either be the Iron Banks or King's Landing or somewhere across the sea. Whole armies couldn't do that. A whole dwarf army couldn't do that to get Smaug out of there. So what makes you think that a bunch of humans who already can't really fight dragons to begin with without some special weapons are going to do the same? So yeah, but once Smaug makes his claim, good luck getting him out. But I'll leave it up to you. What do you think it would be like if Smaug existed in the Game of Thrones universe? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.